So we're doing the top 10 atheist rebuttals. These are the attacks on the theist arguments. And I want to make a distinction first between negative and positive. Negative means you tear down their defenses. Positive means you come up with your own refutation. So I'm going to show you this in example. I'm going to give you 10, but the first three are going to be negative. So we all know these. Cosmological argument is negative. It's a response to a theist argument that something has to come first. And the atheists argue if something has to come first, then something has to come before God. Number 9 is the most common argument from design that basically is a theist defense, which means the world's perfectly designed. Somebody had to design it. So the atheist rebuttal is from science and theories about evolution and how animals adapt to their environment rather than their environment being built for them. So that's an easy one. That's a negative response from the atheist. Number 8 is an interesting one I never talk about. It's the ontological argument. And this is, again, negative. The theists have come up with this theory that because the idea of a perfect God is in my head, it must be true, because it wouldn't be there if it wasn't true, or it wouldn't have that clear conception in my head if it wasn't also true, because the definition of perfection then would extend to existence. They take this argument all over the place, and it's such a bad premise, I don't even know what to tell you. And I'll get to that in a minute. My point is Kant, 300 years ago, explained how just because you can have an image in your head, it doesn't prove existence in any way. And so that's why he dismissed all three of these. Those are all three negative. So let's talk about the 7 positive arguments. I want to start with number 7, but it's actually number 1. It's the best one, problem of evil. We've all heard of problem of evil. It basically means the world's screwed up. The world's screwed up. If you can agree that this world just not working very well, then there can't be a perfect designer designing it, because that means he messed up. And if he can design anything, he wouldn't design this. Come on, man. We all know this. Super easy argument. We'll get back to it in a minute. But the problem of evil is a positive argument. The atheist comes up with it. There is no original conception in the theists. They don't want to let this one out of the bag. So number 6, we're going to move to 6 more creative ones that I came up with or borrowed or did whatever I do. Number 6 is the age of the universe. If we can agree that it's billions of years old, which I think we have to if we're going to live in a world of science at all, and there are a lot of theists who accept this and then try to argue from there. I don't know why. If we can accept that the world is billions of years old, it messes up the God concept. Why would God make it so old? Why would he have this huge gap with no humans in it? None of this makes any sense. We've got all this time without humans, and then we have this little tiny sliver of something with humans in it. Cool wasting your time, man. Number 5 is the Fermi paradox, the fact that we don't encounter other life. We don't encounter life extraterrestrial. And when you think about God being able to do anything, why would you create the whole universe? Why will you just create one planet with one little tiny bit of space around it? So if you're going to create all these planets, you got to have people on all of them. You can do whatever you want. You can all get together and have little interspace carnivals. It actually, you can imagine an invention from some kind of sophisticated creator where we have planets that do different things, vacation planets, sex planets, whatever you want. I don't know how God invented sex if he's so mad about it. Number 4 is the bad designs. So again, a positive argument from atheists. And it means, this is related to argument from design, but it's not entirely that way, because that's negative. This is positive. You can just look around and see things that don't work. And so if there's a designer and there's a bunch of stuff that doesn't work, who screwed it up? Who invented the mosquito? Who invented cancer? Who invented the fact that we live short temporary lives, that we're not immortal? Like, who comes up with this stuff? And then you're going to say, oh, our consciousness doesn't work as immortal. Well, then change consciousness. You built that too. The bad design is a real big issue for theists. Number 3, the free will problem. We have to have free will. The conception of free will is universal, so it at least has to be understood. And if there's a God controlling shit and you're just a little slave peon, there's no free will. That proves determinism if you could somehow prove a God, which you can't. The free will problem is huge, because the solution from religionists is that God gives you free will and then takes it away when he judges you. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't have it both ways. It doesn't work. It actually doesn't work at all. So the free will problem is huge. Number 2, the historicity of the Christian stories and other religions. And the problem is religions all share this stuff, and they all kind of look like they borrow from each other, and they're all mad at each other, but yet they kind of copy each other. And they don't just copy each other contemporaneously in the same time frame. A lot of what the Christian stories reveal is stuff that's been revealed thousands of years before in ancient religions. And these religions have just duplicated this non-creative, imaginary stuff that has become stories like God returning from the dead and having apostles. I don't even, not even perfectly clear what that is. And then all these little stories about a virgin birth, and then obviously a creation story. And a lot of the mythology of almost every religion shares with other ones. And so that's a huge critique of religious stories as having any merit. And I do get that theists sometimes say, well, it's what they all share that matters. Well, if that's true, then you can't be one of them. That means you have to be an all theist. You can't be a Christian. You got to be an all theist, including ancient religions. So the number one is the one I've really wanted to talk about for some time. The number one positive refutation of theism is that theist arguments are so bad. And I know this is a common sense argument. It doesn't sound complex, but it's so true. It's when you compare the breadth of the religious arguments and then the breadth of the atheist arguments, you have atheist arguments being rooted in science, which is not always the best thing, but they're trying, and they have reasoned intellectual arguments. When you look at the Christian arguments, not only are they anti intellectual, non reasoned, but they're slippery, they're confusing, the people that utter them don't even understand them, and then they change their mind all the time. So let's talk about some of these. So one of them is a response to the problem of evil, and a writer named Marcus Borg came up with this idea that the reason hurricanes come and actually kill innocent people, they don't target the people that did evil stuff, which is how the original argument started. Hurricanes and natural disasters target everyone. And the reason they do that, according to Marcus Borg, as a defense of Christianity, is that it's an example. So killing innocent people serves as an example for everyone else that evil is real. That's his argument. I don't think people understand this as argument, because if they did, I'm not saying he's right or wrong at this point. I'm saying he's wrong, but I'm not saying that right now. What I'm saying is the style and the merit and the value of his argument relative to non-believers' arguments is so different. His argument is so childlike and silly. Let's end with the ontological argument. I brought that up as number 8. Ontological means you have a perfect concept in your head, therefore it's true. Think how bad that argument is. Like when I first read that, I thought they were kidding. Seriously, because the other two are okay. And when I got to ontological, I was like, and this is why no one discusses it, because it's so dumb. It lacks so much credibility and value to everyone. Pretending like all you do is faith is silly because you have to get on an airplane. So science is a big part of our lives. I don't think it should be in philosophy, but it does give you stuff. So my point, oh, there goes the chupacabra. You can hear it. If you see a chupacabra in the background, let me know, because I'm going to get one on camera fighting with Bandit, and then I'm going to be famous. My point is the merit and the value of the religious arguments is so much lower and so much different when you compare it to the style and the structure of the argumentation, of the philosophy, of the thinking. You basically come to this conclusion: atheists think, theists don't. And that's a huge problem for theists, that they need to come up with real arguments that actually look good as arguments, independent of whether they're true or not. The structure has to be as an argument and as a real thought from a human. So you have to, and some people do, you just don't hear about them. But, and again, I'd love to do that. I just can't find any yet, but I'm looking. So that's a huge critique. I hope you see the difference between negative and positive. I hope you see these 10 and how they function. This is a whole bunch of them so you can use them. So that's my atheist attacks on the theist arguments, top 10. I'm looking for a chupacabra, but I don't see it. Thanks for watching.